I remember my first podcast.
Room Podcasting Network proudly brings to you your mom's basement. My name is Darian. I have returned from, goddamn, about a year ago, I think.
Oh, wow.
Along with my homeboys. To my immediate left, Jeff is in the house.
Hello.
To his immediate left, Dusty, bringing it back.
Hello there.
And, of course, the man, the myth, the legend, Jason Harrell.
I started the legend. I'm the only one that knows the legend, but I'm here.
He is legendary in that regards. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been damn near a year since we have gathered in these hollow grounds to bring to you an episode of Your Mom's Basement.
God,
it's not as easy as it sounds, gents. There's four of us, and we all have rotating schedules, youth sports. Jason has to go to a thrift store 3 times a week. It's a lot to work around, you know what I'm saying? What have we missed in the last year? Anything, Jeff?
Not a whole lot. I guess started the new job, but that's going well.
Yeah? Just hanging?
Honestly.
Yeah?
Yeah, just kind of hanging.
Right on?
Trying to keep up to date on all the comic stuff, but even that's been
The MCU is blowing up.
Yeah, we're going
I know it.
We'll talk about that later.
I know it. Dusty, how about you, big dog?
Yep, same old. Same old job.
Yeah.
Just putting in my time on the prison sentence that I got. I got 10 years left, or 14 years left, and 10 with good behavior. So,
I mean, it helps if you don't refer to it as a prison sentence.
well, when you work for the government, that's kind of what happens.
Unless, of course, you're Jason Harrell and you actually do work at a prison, and it is a prison sentence.
My prison sentence ends this year.
Oh,
Final year of employment.
so close to retirement.
So close.
So, I feel like a cop drama coming on. Because whenever somebody gets close to retirement in a cop drama, that's when all hell breaks loose, and you're going to end up in some kind of a hostage situation.
Jason, please don't get shivved on your last day of work.
I could see it. I could see it so easily.
If it gets me out earlier, I'm willing to take a pencil to the throat.
Some inmate's going to be like, you know what? D&D sucks. And Jason's going to be like, fuck you. And it's going down.
It'll be by who you think it'll be. It'll be like, your friendly neighbor, your wife or somebody.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's more likely to shake me than anybody.
Your neighbor that talks to your dog and pisses you off.
Oh, yeah.
I could see that
Yeah,
going down.
4'7", 80-year-old lady. Yep.
Oh, coming hard. Hit you with a curling iron or something. Nasty. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't just round these fellas up to shoot the shit. We've got something very near and dear to my heart to talk about today, and that is penis. The Batman's penis. Batman. Now, we just saw the Super Bowl trailer for the upcoming Flash film, gentlemen, and it has Michael Keaton reprising his role as Batman. I am of two minds on the subject. Number one, I don't think he's my favorite Batman. I'm going to be honest with you. He's probably top 2, top 3 maybe even. I mean, there's been a lot of Batmans, and not all of them have been good.
Jeff has left the chat.
Bye-bye, Jeff.
Yes.
I think I'm excited for it. It marks, to me, a return to Tim Burton's version of Batman. We saw the original Batmobile in the trailer.
And we all kind of had a little bit of a nerd pre-ejaculate.
Little pre-cum.
How pumped are we for Michael Keaton reprising his role? Jeff?
I am a 9 on a scale from 1 to 10.
Okay.
And I can go into detail about that later. So.
We certainly will.
I may be 11.
11?
I love Michael Keaton's Batman.
You think he's the best Batman?
He's the best Batman in my mind. Yep.
Jay? No?
On the high end, a 7.
A 7.
He was definitely never my favorite. More for... I prefer the darker versions.
Okay. I'm into that. That's where I'm going. So if I had to do a Batman power ranking, I would probably go Christian Bale. Sorry. Then Michael Keaton. I was not at all mad at Val Kilmer. I thought Val Kilmer did all right.
The movie was a little silly, though.
Well, I'm going to get into that in 2 seconds.
Schumacher.
Schumacher. And then, of course, you have... I'd probably go Adam West over George Clooney because George Clooney just...
Damn, I forgot George Clooney.
Yeah, there was a George Clooney. And not even...
you guys are all forgetting about Batfleck.
What about Ben Affleck?
God, yeah.
And Robert Pattinson.
Oh, yeah. Well, see, okay, so here's one of my issues with Batman. You could replace Bruce Wayne with a dime store mannequin, I feel like. Batman is neither here nor there. To me, the appeal of that entire franchise is, number 1, Gotham City. Number 2, he has the best villains ever.
Yep. His rogues gallery is the best.
Amazing. Yep. Jeff, give me a quick power. Give me the top 3 Batman.
Top 3. Okay, I'm going to put Keaton at number 1, and there's a reason for that.
Okay.
So the same way I would rate Spider-Man actors, I would rate Batman actors. It's not necessarily the way that they play their aliases versus their superhero counterparts or vice versa.
Right.
It's about how they play both and they can pull off both.
Okay.
I think Keaton can do justice to both the best without it being unbelievable. Okay. I feel like if you were to meet Jesus Christ, Michael Keaton's Bruce Wayne in real life, he could be a billionaire.
Sure.
What is it?
Playboy.
Yeah. The thing that Tony Stark says he is. But he could also be the Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he plays I know that Jason was saying that he really enjoys the darker versions of Batman. Outside of the goofy theatrics that is Tim Burton, I think that it was one of the darkest versions of Batman.
Okay.
But I think that the fact that he can kind of switch back between the two, for me, it was the best of all of them. I'd put Christian Bale as number 2.
Okay.
And honestly, I like Batfleck as number 3.
Really?
I think that if you take out the fact, everything that Ben Affleck has done before these movies, I think that he pulled off an older, begrudging Batman a lot better than people were going to give him credit for.
So my thoughts on Batfleck, as you call him, is that
you have to now.
Of course, yeah. That's now part of the DNA. We never really got a Batfleck movie per se. We got he showed up in Suicide Squad, showed up in Justice League,
Batman versus Superman.
Batman versus Superman, the 3-hour opus that it had to be. He was never really like. He wasn't the main character, you know what I mean?
Right.
So he was more of a supporting, and as like a background player, he did fine. But like I said, you can, in my opinion, you can replace Bruce Wayne or Batman with a dime store mannequin. He's just there to beat people up, you know?
Yeah, and I can understand that too. But what brings it all together is, like you said, you can replace, Bruce Wayne with anybody. You can replace...
Sure.
You can put anybody in the suit, the cowl.
Yeah.
Right? And if they have the right voice and enough CGI, then they're going to pull it off.
Right.
It's the combination of the two. And I think that Ben Affleck, with the limited amount of time he spent as Batman, you could see during even the ridiculous Joss Whedon version of the Justice League... which is another whole hour in itself, that he was the leader of the team. He was the leader from the shadows, and that's what he's supposed to be. And I have this bad habit of comparing all Batman actors to the comic versions or the animated series version, because, I don't think anybody's going to argue with me here that the Batman the Animated Series was... probably the best version of Batman we've ever had.
I don't think you're going to get any better.
Yeah, so I tend to compare any actor's version of Batman to those, where he's going to be the leader, but he's doing it from the shadows. He's brooding. He's doing all the things that the detective work that Batman's supposed to do. And I think that Ben Affleck did a pretty good job with the limited amount of resources he had to pull it off.
Sure.
But I still think Michael Keaton did.
Fair enough.
Fantastic job.
Fair enough. Dusty, give me a top 3 Batman.
Well, yeah, I agree with a lot of stuff that Jeff was saying that, Michael Keaton, in my mind, was number 1.
Okay.
Because he didn't have to change his demeanor in terms of he didn't have to get, I'm Batman, like
Right.
Christian Bale, right?
Yeah.
Christian Bale went so
over the
far
top.
over the top,
Yeah.
right? Michael Keaton had the same voice as, he might have dropped an octave or two, but I mean, the same voice as he did when he was Bruce Wayne as he was in Batman. But and it was also in a time without CGI, right? I mean, that movie was, I can remember that movie the first time seeing it as a kid, and I'm like, this is insane. That was like the first superhero, real legit movie we got, I think, in my mind, that was well done. And then Jack Nicholson's Joker was awesome too. So that, I think, it's a little bit of nostalgia, but also I think Keaton fills out the cowl really good. He's got that square jaw, His cowls were always the coolest too. And then I think Ben Affleck is my number 2 because, for one, his costume was rad, and I liked it. I like the short-eared bat. I don't know. I do. I mean,
a classic look.
Yeah.
I felt like they turned him into a football player. Like that that's not Ben Affleck. That thing is bulky, and I mean, I get it. He's got all of his gadgets and all that shit, but that thing added probably 40 or 50 pounds to him, right?
Right. No, I mean, he got big for that movie.
Yeah.
He was, when he was doing all those chain exercises, doing pull-ups with chain weights hanging on him.
Yes.
I mean, he was big, right? Mm-hmm. But I also like his Batman because he has been a Batman that's been around for a long time, and he just done taking shit, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, he's branding guys.
Yeah.
That's, they don't show that in any other iteration of Batman where
that was a point of contention too with a lot of people, the fact that he was so much more ruthless. Now if you watched some of the comics or the cartoons or read the comics where he is older, he does that stuff, but that was a big point of contention for people.
But I think it's just like he's had enough of the bullshit, right? He's been around the block. His Robin's dead. He's got his what do you call it, his shrine to his Robin there where Joker killed him. We don't ever see that, but I mean, that's what it shows in the movie. But he's just done with all the bullshit, and he's like, you know what? I'm going to start marking these guys. And then they talk about it in the movie that these guys are getting in prison. They're getting fucked up. If they got they're like, do you know what this means when I go in prison? This brand of the bat, they get fucked up. They prison shanks and whatnot. Yeah. So I don't know. I that's why I kind of like the short screen time that he had. I like the way they wrote him. And he's taken on Superman, and he knows he can't fucking beat this god among men.
Right.
But he'll be damned if he's going to fucking try, because he knocked down one of his buildings and killed a lot of his people.
Yeah.
His employees.
Yeah.
Like, he's got this vengeance. He is the Batman that embraces the vengeance aspect of it the most. Mm-hmm. And that's why I think he is like the darkest Batman.
See, but don't you think that's kind of a deviation from the character a little bit?
I like that character. I like the darkness of it. I like he's going to do whatever it takes to bring justice to the world. Be it, and they show those apocalyptic futures that he's in. He's carrying M4s and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like, he is a general to the Justice League.
Right.
He has no superpowers whatsoever. He says it to Flash. What's your superpower? I'm rich.
Yeah.
It's just like, I mean, like, yeah. So that's the thing, is that's why I think, and I think Ben Affleck did it great. I mean, he gets a lot of shit from other things that he's done in his personal life or whatever, but I swear to God, I thought that Batman was a good Batman, and I would love to have seen him move forward and do a solo Ben Affleck Batman movie. I think it would have been good. Either maybe he's bringing up a new Batman to kind of replace him because he is older,
right.
So maybe a Nightwing or a Red Hood or something, but he's my second. Christian Bale is my third, just because those movies were so good. I mean, those movies were awesome.
Yeah.
They were awesome. I didn't care for the I'm Batman. You know, I mean, like, I like the fact that Ben Affleck's, he's like, I got the voice modulator.
Yeah.
So
That was something you hadn't seen before, and something that I think he pulled it off really well. And
I like the way they
made a lot
did
of
that.
sense.
Yeah, I really
Because that's
like
always
it.
been one of the troubles too with Batman, right? I guess any comic book character is trying to blend the realistic with the fantasy, right? I mean, obviously Christian Bale's was the most realistic,
I would say.
but I think Ben Affleck's character kind of, and Michael Keaton too, but I think Ben Affleck's character was the most fantastical, but also kind of based in reality. A lot of the things that he did.
He had the most high level threats thrown at him, right? I mean, he had end of the world kind of shit, like Steppenwolf. I mean, he had to deal with fighting gods.
Yeah.
You know, these other Batmans we've had have fought the Joker or the Scarecrow. You know,
you get a chance.
yeah, they're protecting Gotham City.
Right.
Ben Affleck Batman was saving the world,
Right.
You know, or part of it. You know,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I don't know, and he had to have that. You know, what do you call it? That gut instinct to be the bat that he was to help out the team in terms of his not going to take shit. I'm just going to be the guy that I am, and we're going to beat the shit out of it. He rounded everybody up, and he's so
Totally.
that's my hierarchy.
Jay, give me a top
I'll
3.
have far less to say about the subject.
An hour and a half later.
But I will say that my number 3 is probably Michael Keaton.
Okay.
He does fill out that cowl great. He does drop his voice perfectly. It's just enough to be a difference. And that subtlety is really all you need. Not the over-aggressive... where it becomes, you can't understand what the hell he's saying. I think I unfairly diminish Michael Keaton's Batman because of the movies themselves. Just like my horror movies, I am not a fan of zany and kooky movies. I don't like it unless I'm watching Police Academy or some dumbass, right? A very intentional,
Surrounded by assholes.
stupid movie. I'm down with that, but I'm not watching a superhero movie for wisecracks and over the top jokers and God help me the Mr. Freezes and just all of these characters that got thrown in. That just felt over the top. The Penguin, that was another Burton one, right? Yeah. And so I pretty much just blame Tim Burton for all of my jadedness towards Michael Keaton.
Fair enough.
I really do like Michael Keaton in it. I think he's a great Batman, but he gets points taken away because of the quality of the movies. My number 2 is Christian Bale. But to me, he is very good at what he does. He adequately portrays the character. His voice is wretched. It's terrible.
That's pretty rough.
And I don't like that he's a little too gimpy.
How is he gimpy?
Well, he's gimping around with a cane half the time.
That was only in the third movie.
That's half the time.
No, but fair enough. That's what will happen to the human body. After doing what he's doing for years.
I understand that.
I have a hard time rolling out of bed, and I haven't done anything all week.
But I don't think you can go from one to the other. Now, if it's part of the playing it up, to look like this kind of broke down, old man who's kind of not able to have this alter ego,
right?
Then that's one thing. But I think he was genuinely just beaten down and broken. I don't think with enough ibuprofen he could go out at night and fight the good fight. But I still liked, and I think he's unjustly getting extra points because of the quality of the movies.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Okay.
Because so many people have touted. Which one was it? The Dark Knight, with Christian
Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger, there we go. As being just this wonderful movie. You take Heath Ledger out of that movie, And I say you have a standard Batman movie.
Probably. Yeah.
Heath Ledger is what made that. Now, if we were ranking
Jokers,
there's your guy.
Oh, guaranteed.
We can,
No question.
Yeah.
No question.
But so I do think he kind of gets bonus points for just the quality of the movies. My number one is Ben Affleck.
You.
Oh, yeah.
Going with Batfleck.
Yeah.
I like it.
His idiotic politics aside,
Right.
the guy got jacked for it. He has great stature. He fills out that suit great. I think he also has just enough levity in the Bruce Wayne role to go to a charity ball, and play up that part. I don't really think that you could convince people you're not Batman when you look like that. It's really hard not to see that he is Batman. But I'm a huge fan of
Vigilantism?
Vigilantism to begin with. And I think that movie and that Batman is what does that best.
I agree.
He is what I love about Batman, or the concept of Batman, and it's no different than what I can appreciate for somebody in real life who is willing to stand up, fight the good fight, because we live in a world where nobody, or next to nobody, is willing to do that. With that said, I'm Batman.
I knew it.
Well, God damn it, Jason! Now I'm pumped up to go right some wrongs.
Yeah,
right after that.
Give me a picket sign.
Just throw a couple models on your arms, right?
Now, if you want a gimpy Batman, I'm your guy.
I mean, that makes perfect sense too. The vigilante. I mean, if we're going to take every factor into consideration, then yeah, I agree with your list there. It's director, it's the writing, it's your surrounding castmates and all that stuff. My list was more so just honing in on the character himself and the actor.
It's hard for me to separate because I'm so put off by the movies themselves that it really just detracts from the character. I can't get absorbed into one aspect of it alone when when 90% of it is just wrecking it.
Well, we're in for an opportunity then with the new Flash movie, because we're going to get Michael Keaton with a completely different director.
And Affleck's in that one too.
And Affleck's in it. He's going to be a different director, but it's part of the same universe, so they're going to follow some of the same writing, I would think. But to a degree, we're going to get two different Batmen, and we're going to get opportunities to see them in a different way. So we can really kind of narrow down who's going to pull this off better.
I don't think we're going to get a lot of them, though. I don't think we're going to get a lot of these alternate universe Batman.
I think Michael Keaton's probably going to be the main, yeah.
Well, I think it's just going to be kind of like in the I think the last Spider-Man, where there was the multiverse effect going on, and you had Tobey Maguire coming in and Andrew Garfield, but it wasn't for this long stretch.
No.
And plus, those guys still had youth on their side.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't think that Keaton's going to get brought in for a whole lot. I think it's going to be here's this universe getting melded with whatever's going on, time travel or whatnot. And I think it'll be a blip, and I think we'll be lucky to get 20 minutes out of it.
As it should be.
You're probably right. It is a Flash movie. Yeah. I mean,
you don't want to water down what the story's about, and that's one of the biggest problems with a lot of these cinematic universes, where they just try to capitalize on the money aspect of it, and try to throw out to the audience what people think that they want.
Fan
service.
Yeah,
fan
exactly.
service. So
just like the Batmobile unveiling, right?
Exactly.
Give them a taste of filet mignon, and they'll leave them wanting more.
Which one was Jim Carrey in?
Batman Forever.
Batman Forever. He was
Val
the Riddler.
Kilmer, Joel Schumacher directed it.
Okay.
You bring up fan service, and I can't help but think about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Yep.
Now, there was all kinds of bullshit leaked about this, about how it was going to incorporate the Transformers universe and all kinds of fucking cool shit. And I went in there with a hard dick, fellas. Just wait. What
As
is
he goes into most rooms.
Most rooms, I go in.
Came
With,
into this room with the hard dick. But.
sorry for pointing.
We are very sexy.
But what we got in exchange for all that was 35 seconds of Patrick Stewart as Professor X, and I kind of left there feeling let down because that was it. And then he jumped out of that multiverse into the next one, and then goodbye, you're done.
So it was a lot of fan service.
Yeah, and I think that's what I think we're going to get more of that.
I think that's kind of where we're headed with the Flash. Is that we all got our nerd boners raging right now for Michael Keaton, and if he's not in this movie for more than 10 minutes, we're all going to be tremendously let down.
Well, there's going to be that sweet spot, right, where he's going to be an integral part of the story. In Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness, the Illuminati was not an integral part of the movie.
It was just fan service.
They could have
Yeah.
made the same type of movie without him completely, which is very, very disappointing to me. Now, obviously, the characters being introduced is going to open up a bunch of doors, but you can do that in a bunch of different ways that actually matter.
Yeah.
I was very disappointed in that movie, in that particular part of the movie for that reason.
Yeah.
Now, who did it right was, when they were making the new Spider-Man movie. They were an integral part of the movie. Mm-hmm. They didn't overdo it. It wasn't watered down. And
they were there at the climax.
They're there at the climax.
Yeah.
They had a job to do. And I don't think that they're going to carry on those characters in any other way. At least they shouldn't.
Right.
If they ended those characters, Tobey Maguire's character and Andrew Garfield's character after that movie, like at that movie,
mm-hmm.
it wouldn't diminish the character at all. So yeah, I guess there's kind of those two movies you can compare it to. And see where the Flash lands.
Yeah, totally.
How about the best Batmobile? Just one and done. And best Batmobile and best Batjet or Batplane. What do you want to call it?
That's a tough one, man.
Darian,
I feel like if I'm Batman and I've got all of the Batmobiles lined up and I got to pick one to go out on patrol or whatever, I really like the Tumbler. That motherfucker can jump. Mm-hmm. It can start and bang over. And if Morgan Freeman shows up and he hands me the keys, dude, I can't say no to Morgan Freeman. Give me the Tumbler, for Christ's sakes.
I like to say that Andy fought off the sisters that day, but
but more to the point, and I don't know if this is specific to one version of the tumbler or the other, but the way the bat cycle explodes out of the tumbler, I don't think we ever saw that before. That was pretty dope.
Or since,
that
was cool.
And it's got it doesn't have a steering wheel. It's got the two joysticks.
Mm-hmm.
How hard would it be to learn how to drive that thing?
Oh, no, I'd wreck that thing in about 3
but
seconds.
That's the point, right?
Yeah.
Because in the comics, who was it? Tim Drake?
Yes.
Was it Tim or Jason? I think it was Tim Drake. He takes the wheels off the Batmobile.
Yeah.
He's not taking the wheels off the tumbler.
No. There's too many. There's 14 wheels on that fucking thing.
Well, and they're also 8 feet tall. So.
That too. I go with the tumbler. Jeff, how do you say on the Batmobile?
Batmobile. Because that was a two-part question, right?
Batmobile and
Batjet.
Like Batjet. What I mean, not everybody had a Batjet, but I was leading into my answer.
As far as the Batjet goes, I would probably go with the Michael Keaton one with the tin snips
that looked like the bat symbol.
That looked just like the bat symbol. That thing we saw at the end of Dark Knight Rises, I felt like that was more of like a weird hover
thing.
thing. It was very impressive, but I don't know how. It didn't feel like a jet to me.
Right.
Okay. Batmobile. I was leaning towards Batflex just because if you can run into the Man of Steel and it's still driving home after that, there's something to it.
Totally.
But I like your reasoning. I'm into overlanding. I like your idea that it can actually go over things.
It jumps.
Yeah. I mean, now, granted, there were some times in the what was it, Batman vs Superman, where it jumped and did things like that, but it's not supposed to.
Right.
The tumbler that's what it does. It tumbles and it goes all over the place. Plus the motorcycle, you got that one hands down. That jet, I'm going to give that one to Batfleck.
Okay.
Yeah, that one was pretty cool. It didn't really have a bat symbol shape to it. It was just kind of a weird,
Airplane.
yeah,
kind of
airplane
deal.
looking thing. But it was pretty cool. So I guess those are my two.
Gotcha. I think I'm gonna still go with Michael Keaton's Batmobile. I like it because it looks. You look at this thing. Okay, so all of you guys talked about the tumblers and then Ben Affleck's. It doesn't. It's not a. You wouldn't know that it's a Batmobile. It would look like a military vehicle, right? A tough ass military vehicle. But you look at Michael Keaton's Batmobile, and it is the Batmobile, right? It's got an intake for its jet engine on the front, the big ass intake.
Yeah.
And, it doesn't, it's got a low profile, so it's not climbing over shit, right?
No.
But it hauls ass. And it got shields, right? So
It's got shields,
he
that's
parks
right.
it right in the middle of the fucking intersection, jumps out, goes running off in shields. Just like, and then like a freaking potato bug, it covers up in the shields. So that's, I don't know. And then the fins on it, and it got more and more extravagant as the movie went.
Schumacher, he just took it and he ruined it.
Yeah, man.
But the original Batmobile from Michael Keaton's, that's my favorite.
It was a convertible. What was it? Corvette, right?
I don't know.
I think they used a Corvette as the base
As
for
the
that
base
car.
for
I
it, yeah.
think. Yeah.
And I like the way the cockpit just slides back, and then they jump out, and it's
See, so that would be my one redeeming quality for Adam West's Batmobile, is that it had the two separate bubbles, one for driver, one for passenger, so I don't have to listen to my wife. I can just shut her bubble, shut my bubble. Hey, give me a French fry. And then shut it again.
well, Michael Keaton's Batmobile had that very strategically placed light, so that when she was trying to see who he was, he shined a light on.
Yeah. Jason, what do you think, bud?
I got to go Tumbler.
I agree.
I had forgotten. I forgot the motorcycle.
Yeah.
Completely forgot that. I think that's your all-purpose vehicle right there.
Right.
That original Batmobile from Keaton is ridiculous. It looks like a stretched limo.
I know.
It's
with
about 12
fins.
feet long.
It's not making it over a high curve
It
either.
is so long. There better not be a large rock in the middle of the way.
We can't go in any parking lots where there's a speed bump.
You're seeing like one of those like drifters try to go over a speed bump. You're going sideways. Same deal.
He's got a grappling hook to help him corner, though. Come on.
The Adam West one has my heart, though.
Yeah.
But I grew up with that. I had so many little toys from the series, and I had a very old in the late 70s. I had a very old Batmobile that I just beat to shit. And it's just so much nostalgia there. That thing's completely worthless from a defensive standpoint. But,
Looks great.
but it looks cool.
Attack him from the top.
And I don't remember a single jet, so I can't even form an opinion
Okay.
on.
I was going to get to the jet thing. I like the original Bat jet, with the symbol.
Oh, yeah.
Totally.
The Michael Keaton
Yeah.
one, right? Yeah.
There's no way it's aerodynamic. It's not flying.
Well,
but I mean,
no.
It looks cool as shit
Yeah.
when it flies up against the moon. And,
Unless somebody throws it like a Frisbee,
Yeah.
then it might. I don't know. I think the original Batmobile, the Adam West one, is out in Carson City, isn't it?
I thought they had it for a while at the Automobile Museum.
Oh, it might be there. Yeah, I don't know.
One in town.
Yeah. So there was a bit of controversy, gentlemen. Controversy involving Batman. Jeff, you might know where I'm going with this. I want to say late 80s, early 90s, there was a graphic novel released called The Killing Joke. Now, it was oriented towards adults, and the premise of The Killing Joke was that the Joker had captured Babs, Commissioner Gordon's daughter, and kept her captive in a hotel room, did some very horrible things to her pornographically, and videotaped it and photographed it, the whole thing, and then let her go, or Batman rescued her. Jeff, correct me if I'm wrong on this.
Well, there was some very important stuff in between there.
And then he captures Commissioner Gordon and makes him watch all of this stuff. I think the reasoning was to try to turn Commissioner Gordon into a Joker kind of a thing, drive him insane. The controversy, though, was not in the... I mean, if you read the graphic novel, you didn't really get to see any of these horrific images.
He alluded to it. Yeah.
Alluded to it, but the cover, I think, was what really started the big problem. And you might remember this. It had the Joker with his arm around Batgirl, and he had like a weird like straw hat and a Hawaiian shirt on, and she just had like this panicked, terrified look on her face with like tears coming out of her eyes. And I think the controversy was that it somehow triggered domestic violence or something like that. Do you remember any of this?
That, and then the whole, rape.
There was the definite rape element to it.
Element to it. Now, they actually made a cartoon movie, an animated movie on. And that was the big deal too.
Yeah.
To anybody who's a fan of Batman, like a longtime fan of Batman.
I think it was the first R-rated DC cartoon.
I believe so.
It was one, or it was one of them at least. But so they made that movie, and obviously they cut a lot out of it. But they go through quite a lot in that movie. But she ends up getting shot, and that's
she becomes paraplegic.
Yeah.
Right. She becomes a completely different hero altogether. But yeah, so I was reading a lot about that too, and people were just like everything else these days trying to censor that whole thing. But it's probably, I would say, top 2 most famous. I mean, I would think that
Death of Superman, The Killing Joke.
Yeah, I mean, as far as DC is concerned, it is. I mean, if not top 5 most popular stories about in DC. But yeah, there was a lot of talk about them not wanting to do it, or to take a bunch of liberties with it and change the story up. They actually didn't, with the animated flick, but they took a lot of the alluding out of it and kind of made it more of a she was beating him and everything.
Yeah,
was that
that's the original cover.
showing the cover on his phone. Yeah,
so
he has a camera and.
Well, no, the camera.
No, this is the.
That's the
cover.
original cover that was pulled from the shelves.
Where she's got
the camera is from the cartoon. Yeah.
Yeah.
The one with the camera. That's the
animated movie.
Yeah.
Film. Yes.
We do not watch cartoons. We're men.
They're not dolls or action figures.
That's right. They're statues. I mean, I get it, but my thoughts on that was that Batman in like his villains, they've always gone a little bit farther. Like if you look at the rest of the DC storylines, they're very repetitive. They're very up until recently anyway. They're very Superman stops a bank robbery. Doctor Strange or not Doctor Fate saves a kid from a well or something like that. But Batman has always been like the R-rated version. So it was inevitable to me that it would go into some dark places. Gotham City is a dark place. It's a dingy,
who would live
funky,
there? Just move.
Right? Get the fuck out of here. Well,
it's like Sam Kinison said about all the starving children in the
Yeah,
in the
move!
desert. Just pack up your shit and move where the food is.
Put it on the camel and get out of there. But
Rest in peace.
it's inevitable that it would go to some dark places like that. Especially like as we got into like the early 90s when comics started kind of veering into the realm of adult consumers. We got things like Marvel Knights, we got things like The Killing Joke, and if
all started with heavy metal. Remember that one?
Oh yeah, you could pull your dick clean off to one of those things.
Yeah, while I can't tell you, I've never been a big comic reader, but I can tell you a lot of covers for heavy metal.
Oh yeah. Buxom young ladies with samurai
and
swords.
Vampirilla.
Yes, and weird machine guns type of things.
Metal bras riding dragons. There you go.
My question to you, gentlemen, is: do you think The Killing Joke will ever be a film adaptation?
Well, with the way the whole DCU is going now, probably not. I don't. I don't know. I don't know what direction
If they diminish
he's trying to take
that
it,
part
you know?
of the storyline,
James
like
Gunn
the
is-
rapey stuff.
Yeah.
They'll take liberties with it. I mean, here's, like I said, it's one of the most popular storylines in all of DC. That's just money.
Totally.
You know, when they look at that story, that's a cash cow.
Oh, totally.
They will take liberties with it. Which they, honestly, if you look back on the history of graphic novels or comics being turned into movies, they take liberties. That's what they
course,
do.
yeah.
There's some things that you're going to not get with for instance, like a Batman versus Predator graphic novel. You're not going to get in the movie.
No.
And that's about as like devilish as it gets.
Yeah, but the purpose of adapting that to screen, they really only have two benefits. One, it's kind of a ready-made story. They don't have to be creative, and other than tweaking some parts to make them more palatable to today's
The masses.
sensitivities. But other than that, it really is only serving the comic fan. And the vast majority that go see these Batman movies, I guarantee you aren't reading comics. They're not reading graphic novels. They're moviegoers. They know the people. They know the characters. They know some storylines. But I would argue that the greater portion of them don't read comics.
But, and I agree with you, the vast majority of people that are going to see these movies are not comic book readers. However, we've seen the success, and I don't want to compare DC to Marvel here, but you kind of have to because they have more of this type of content. They have Civil War, right? They have Infinity War. So they have these big, elaborate storylines, and they obviously take some liberties with them, but they sell, and people will go watch those movies. Now, granted, The Killing Joke is going to be more of an avant-garde storyline. You're not going to bring 20 different superheroes and 20 different already established characters into this movie.
Right.
But it will work. Even with the new Flash movie. They didn't have to be bringing a bunch of different characters from outside the universe into the movie. Obviously, they chose to, and I think it's going to be a success, whether the movie's good or not. But it's a storyline that means a lot to a lot of comic book readers that people who don't read comics they're going to go see.
Well, a lot of people that don't even read comics know, like, Flashpoint. That's basically what the movie's based off of.
Yeah.
You know?
Which, by the way, was one of the best. That was one of the best animated movies I've ever seen.
It's too bad that they can't take like such a dark story because I don't know anything about that story, but just from hearing you guys talk about it, sounds great.
Yep.
I would love to see that. Obviously, not read it. And it's too bad that I don't think they can do that. Whereas, like how they did with Joker, with the Joker movie, I love the Joker movie. That is a deeply depressing, dark, and just, man, is it just dark. I mean, it's a miserable fucking movie. I love it.
Loved it too.
Yep.
I wish that they could do a story like the one you were just talking about in kind of that tone, kind of like the tone that the Joker has.
What are they are doing a sequel to that. What is that supposed to follow?
It's going to have
supposed
Harley
to be
Quinn.
musical, and Harley Quinn's supposed to be Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
I'm going to shelve my thoughts on that until I actually see it. But what I will say in response to that is, instead of looking, I guess, at Marvel, which has typically been more lighthearted and things like that, I would compare what they could possibly do with The Killing Joke to what they did with Logan.
I was going to say Logan.
So,
which is phenomenal.
One of my favorite storylines of all time was Old Man Logan, and they obviously changed a lot because they had to. One, they didn't have a right to.
And out of the entire Marvel movies, that's one of my favorites, if not my favorite.
Well, the thing is, too, is they didn't have the rights to 95% of the characters that were originally in that storyline, right? That was a Fox thing at the time.
Well, yeah, Hawkeye was already over in the MCU, and he's a big part of that run.
Yeah,
but
what was it? The Hulk, and no, Hulk was Universal.
Yeah.
So X-Men.
Well, depending on which Hulk, but yeah.
Right. So X-Men
X-Men
were a part of Fox.
Right.
trying to think of
Hulk is Universal,
Right.
and Spider-Man's Sony.
Spider-Man was Sony.
Yeah.
Well, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man.
Well, all of them now.
Fantastic Four, I think,
Is
was
all-
Sony also.
Fantastic Four is Sony. No, Fox.
No, they're Fox.
Fox,
Yeah.
that's right.
They're all part of,
Yeah.
of Marvel now, which is part of Disney, because we all know the House of Mouse is going to rule the world one day. Anyway, so what they did with Logan was they had a limited amount of available content to them. They had this fantastical storyline, which it was so well put together, and there's been so many offshoot storylines from their Old Man Hawkeye, Old Man Star-Lord, and all these things like
Wasteland.
that. Wastelanders.
Wasteland.
Wastelanders. Yeah.
Yeah, terrific stuff. All of it has been really, really great. But they didn't have access to all that, and they still made probably, I want to say, Logan is my is my third favorite movie of all time, and just because of them turning it into this almost modern day style Western, it was finally the way Logan was supposed to be. I could go on about that movie all day, but we're not talking about him. What I'm saying is, though, they could possibly do a story like that with The Killing Joke and be very, very successful.
That'd be great.
I think the reason Logan was so successful, you're talking about the characters they had access to. I think that was one of the things that made them actually do their work and write a good story. I mean, the story of that movie is phenomenal. I mean, it hits you in the feels like he's a surrogate father.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Laura.
X-23.
Laura.
Yeah, X-23. Yeah. So I mean, it's a good story, and I think a lot of times these comic book movies get wrapped up in let's show this giant world-ending fucking apocalypse thing, and
Right.
the CGI of it and everything like that. Yeah, that creates a good backdrop for a story that has some meaning. But this little Logan trying to get Laura to the free zone. I mean, it's a small world problem, but it was a good story. It made them have to write it better. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They couldn't just rely on all this crazy porn, right?
Yeah.
It's just they had to get a good story, you know?
So there's possibilities.
Totally. Who is the best Batman villain? Jason Harrell? Don't think about actors or performances. Just think about the villain itself.
Oh gosh,
there are many.
Yeah.
What I love about
I'm a
Batman,
big Riddler fan.
I like that. One of my favorite aspects of the whole Batman mythos is not only Gotham City, but he kind of just dips his like pinky toe into like H.P. Lovecraft. Arkham Asylum. You know what I mean? Clayface.
Yeah.
This big amalgamation of different fucking tentacle-having things that can fuck you. Killer Croc. Gave me fucking nightmares as a kid. You know
Man
what I'm
Bat.
saying? Man Bat. Fucking A, man.
What a terrible name.
Well, I know.
They had to play on Batman. I mean,
But seriously,
He's a man.
but he's
That's
a
But
bat.
he's also a bat.
They could have said "wear bat."
Yeah.
or, you know.
It's even dumber. But if you think about it, who would you rather encounter in a dark alley? Lex Luthor or Killer Croc? I'll take my chances against the millionaire who is bent on world domination.
Yeah.
Not the giant reptile guy that eats people.
Yeah, I kind of fell back in love with Riddler when I played Arkham Asylum.
Okay.
I loved he was constantly in my ear and just solving all of those little side riddles and stuff like
Now,
that.
how did you feel about the interpretation in the Robert Pattinson?
Terrible.
You didn't like that?
No.
You turned him into the Zodiac killer, pretty much.
Yeah.
I got a 7 vibe from him, but yeah, I mean,
Same thing.
And I don't know if it's just the way the reveal. I don't know if that just like crushed it for me or what.
And that's a bummer because that actor, I really enjoy that actor.
Yeah,
But
he was great. I thought
it just wasn't Riddler.
it just wasn't the Riddler. He was more like a weird Ted Bundy kind of a John Wayne.
Even Pattinson,
DC.
I actually liked his Batman quite a bit. A little too brooding though. It was hard
Yeah.
for me to separate him from Twilight Edward. So
Yeah.
Well, that, and then when we actually got to see Wayne Manor, and it was like this giant gothic cathedral-esque thing. It's
Yeah.
like, who the fuck lives there? Nobody's going to live there.
Well, his parents built it.
Well, I know,
Like they
but
knew
still.
that he was going to be Batman.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know.
I would like my to raise my child to be a fucking bat guy. So here you go.
So there you go. We're going to build you a house that's very gothic.
I'm
so.
going to pretend I'm Dracula.
The cool thing about Riddler, though, is the fact that he made Batman be what he is, the world's greatest detective.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I mean, and to a point, Joker did too. But yeah,
and
Batman had to be.
that's the aspect I really like is just I love the puzzles.
Yeah.
I love the riddle solving.
How did you feel about Jim Carrey in that role?
Fucking worst thing in the world.
Oh, stop it
He's
right
so
now.
I love
stupid.
Jim Carrey, but I agree.
God,
That character.
he is just it. It's the Grinch prancing around in a question mark suit.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Good enough.
That's I mean, you want to keep Batman's left foot in like a realm of reality and true crime and things like that. But you've got such a like larger than life villain like the Riddler, to where it's like, well, clearly he's smarter than everybody, but I think I could punch him in the face and he'd fall down.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But at the same, you got to kind
But
of
you
sell
never
that.
get to his face type thing. Like
That's-
he's going to think of
Well,
something.
and
Yeah,
I really
exactly.
I just really like the concept of a guy who is potentially winning just because of his mind.
Sure.
I don't know. It really resonates with me. So
Well,
probably because I'm feeble.
Clearly, you never saw Vincent Price as the Egg Master in the originals.
Oh
series.
my God! Yep, I do remember
Excellent.
that. Excellent.
Oh yes, I did. Yes.
Dusty, how about you, man?
I got to go Joker. Just because of the he's classic and it's just his batshit crazy. I mean, Batman has kicked his ass, just the ever living shit out of him so many times, and he's laughing the whole time.
Right.
He's just batshit crazy. He has no agenda other than
Chaos.
anarchy.
Yeah,
He's
chaos.
just like, I just want to do what the fuck I want to do, and I want to bring chaos to the world. He's not world dominating. He's not trying to outsmart him. He's just trying to fuck with him.
Yeah.
I mean, he just is, and Heath Ledger did it best in my mind.
Clearly.
But I mean, even you played Mortal Kombat 11 with the Joker. He's just
Yeah.
a fucking loon.
Yeah.
He's a nutbag.
Yeah.
One of his fatalities, he punches a boxing glove through you.
Through your chest.
Through
Yeah.
your
That's
chest.
pretty awesome.
I mean, like, it's just the don't give a fuck's attitude and
Right.
just the total maniacal hysteria that he brings. He's just a walking ball of destruction and chaos.
I think Heath Ledger said it best in The Dark Knight when I forget the exact line, but he said
You're gonna
something to
do
the
the
effect
dog
of,
chasing a car.
"I am a
quote.
dog. I wouldn't know what to do if I ever caught it."
Yeah.
But that's kind of what he was. Obviously, Heath Ledger has to be the best Joker. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Is there anybody? I mean, Jack Nicholson was great.
He was good.
But
really
he was
good.
kind of like a guy that you could have a beer with, and he would maybe slit your throat at the end, but you'd have fun with him. Heath Ledger, you look at him and you're like, oh, I gotta get up out of here.
Oh,
This guy
God.
is
I
nuts.
love the scene when he's walking away from that fucking school bus after he crashes into the hospital. He's just shaking the the detonator.
the nurse's outfit.
You know, and he's like,
Oh, the hospital.
he's just doing it, and then all of a sudden it goes off. He's like, and he just like
Yeah.
smiles and walks away.
That's great.
So-
it's just great.
Urban legend tells us that scene was not planned. That happened totally because the pyrotechnics weren't going off.
But it worked
And
fucking
He
beautifully.
was like
So much
hitting the
better.
clacker,
Yeah.
waiting for the fucking. And then
It's
finally
so
he
much
looked
better.
at the director and went like that, and then it went off, and then fucking.
That's
good.
awesome. If that,
Yeah.
But it was movie
Perfect.
gold.
It was.
movie gold.
Yes.
For his character, it was gold.
And for what it's worth, I've shown my kids Batman Begins and The Dark Knight Rises, or The Dark Knight. They now refuse to watch The Dark Knight Rises because they're having nightmares about Heath Ledger's Joker, of course. Jeff, what do you think?
Holy moly! I had such a solid choice in my mind, and then after listening to the Joker talks, I think I'm going to go Joker. I was going to say Red Hood, just because Jason Todd was Robin, and he was a son to Batman, and the fact that he, after became Red Hood, was a villain to Batman, that made me want to choose him. Plus, he's probably the most dangerous of all of them, I think.
Oh, totally.
If he's against you and you're Batman,
And you taught him everything you know?
also you're going to freeze. Any other villain, you know what you have to do.
Because you love this guy.
But you're going to freeze, and that's what made me choose him at first. But I just kind of going through it, I guess, Joker.
Okay.
It's the dichotomy, right? It's there's a reason why Joker doesn't really have an agenda. His agenda is because he is the opposite side of the coin to Batman.
Mm-hmm.
All he wants to do is make Batman break his oath and be like him.
Kill him.
Well, and yeah, he wants him to stop having to go back on all these codes, and he wants him to be the antithesis to everything he's supposed to stand for. That's all he cares about.
Yeah.
And once that happens, he doesn't even think about it. He just wants him to do it because he's got that crazy loony mind. So that is something that you just can't fight, and that's the reason why I think he hasn't been able to ever stop him.
I'm gonna one up you a little bit there, and I don't mean to, but of all the Batman villains that we think about, there's always like a redemptive quality to them. Like you have Mr. Freeze. He's got this disease. He's trying to cure it. He's trying to save his wife.
Yeah.
Right.
What else? You got Harley Quinn. She's a battered spouse. Clayface. He got a hold of this shit that was making him more attractive, but then he kind of got addicted to it, and he turned into this big puddle of goo.
Harvey Dent, Two-Face. I mean, everybody's got a
Harvey
backstory.
Dent. That's another good one, but not the Joker.
No.
The Joker's
redemptive quality.
Joker is just a big fucking crazy swerve. I don't think we can't even settle on an original name for this guy.
Now
Jack Napier. The guy from Gotham. I forget his name, but
they did do a kind of a backstory, and that's one of the things that made the Joker so cool for so long is he didn't really have a backstory.
No, it's just crazy.
But they did give him one in the animated movie Long Halloween.
Oh yeah.
I saw that one.
Yeah.
Which I didn't like that they did.
Yeah,
he was a failed magician, and he landed in some stuff. Which was it's okay if you're trying to make that story and turn it into something, but it's just I didn't appreciate the fact that they totally took out all of the mystery of that character. That's the scariest part of the Joker is like
nobody knows.
That's why Heath Ledger's Joker was so intimidating. It's like we don't know where he came from, we don't know who he is, we don't know why he's doing what he's doing.
His story changes.
Yeah, every time he talks about his scars, he says
it's different
every time.
shit.
That is the mystery, the mystique of Joker is what makes him so scary. But yeah, no, that I think I would say Joker, and I would say Heath Ledger is the best one too. And I was gonna say Jared Leto is probably the worst.
Oh yeah.
But we got a glimpse of this, only a glimpse.
Okay.
At the end of the Snyder Cut. Justice League Snyder Cut in the apocalypse scene where
he's sitting on
Batman's coming up to him and he's like, "When I kill you, and I will fucking kill you, you can feel the hate between the two. Like he's got him. Batman's got him there because he needs him, but
he's got him wrapped up in a straitjacket, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's going to kill him. Something about that final scene, and we only got so much of it. I'm so bummed out. That could have been something.
I thought really cool. I thought he could have done great. I really did.
Suicide Squad ruined.
I was so hopeful. I was really sad to see that he didn't get to be what I know he could have done for that character.
Jared Leto's a good actor.
He is.
But the one that the Joker they pigeonholed him into, I just didn't like it.
Gangster style.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't mad at like his aesthetic. Like I get all the fucking tattoos, whatever. You got to update the Joker. You can't have the 90-pound clown running around the whole time.
I kind of like the physical aesthetics
of Jared Leto.
Yeah,
no, I did too.
He looked like he could beat me up.
It was the character portrayal is what took me out of it.
I get that, and like the dichotomy between the Joker and Harley Quinn. they're not in love. Well, she's in love. He's not. Yeah. He's a fucking asshole that's using
an abusive relationship.
Yeah, totally.
I think he's incapable of. He's a sociopath.
Probably, yeah, exactly.
Like, he doesn't give a shit about anything.
Now, that being said, and since we're already talking about the Joker, Joaquin Phoenix is more sympathetic portrayal of a man that is like on the edge and is kind of marginalized by society. How do we feel about that?
No, I think that's a good portrayal because I think that it leads into. I think that's the mystery we've been talking about his backstory.
Right.
That's a perfect backstory for someone who becomes, maybe he's borderline sociopath to begin with, but then society just beats him the fuck down, and he just starts to snap and give zero fucks.
Especially by the end when he's celebrated for breaking and becoming something more. So now he's found his audience. Yep. And now he can really start to just...
He's a performer.
Yeah, and he's just going to constantly be upping that.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to agree with all of that, but I'm going to disagree. Because you can't have... The Joker has to be basically Michael Myers. He has to be evil incarnate.
Right.
If there is one villain, not only in like the Batman universe, but in any universe that is beyond redemption, it is the Joker. He is chaos incarnate. Now, you talk all this stuff about him thinking he's Thomas Wayne's illegitimate son. Okay, now we're adding a depth of humanity to him,
right?
And we can get behind that. Joker is not a hero. Joker is the epitome of the bad guy. It doesn't get any worse. He's an abusive spouse. He's a fucking serial killer. He does just
a narcissist.
On top of just being a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
But like we cannot feel sorry for him.
He needs to be kept as an entity,
exactly,
not a person.
Exactly,
and that's what if we want to talk about the origins of these characters and when they were created, Batman isn't now who he was created to be. He was campy. He was this white knight, dark knight thing, and then in the 80s it started becoming really, really dark. And Joker was kind of the same thing. He was just this crook. Almost a bank robber type.
Yeah,
they wore clown makeup.
But now he is the darkness that Batman is fighting. Mm-hmm. Is the darkness that Batman is scared of, and he takes on this whole different meaning now. And when you start putting origin stories to him, and don't get me wrong, I loved the Joker movie. I thought it was great. Mm-hmm. But I'm glad that there is no one origin story. Like there is an origin story to Batman. There's an origin story to Superman.
And it's the same, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad, and I hope that they never move to a direction where there's an origin story to Joker, like one set origin story, because there shouldn't be.
Which is kind of where we're headed right now, right?
Unfortunately.
Well, I mean, it's a great movie. I love it. I've seen it many times, but that's the one guy that I cannot feel sorry for. Because he is just that fucking crazy and that fucking evil. If I had to pick a favorite Batman supervillain, I really have always had a soft spot for the Penguin, especially down the decades of his different iterations. Burgess Meredith with his giant stupid
the best.
That was dumb as shit.
It's the best.
Danny DeVito with his weird flipper hands and his giant penguins with fucking rocket launchers on them. Remember that shit? They had like mortars on their backs.
And his clowns that he has working for him.
Oh yeah, he had a whole circus behind him.
Yeah.
But if you want like my personal favorite interpretation of the Penguin was in I think it was Arkham Knights, where it was like you're Batman and you're in Gotham City, but the Joker and the Penguin are vying for control over it, and he has like all of his mercenaries, and the Joker's got all of his crazy fuckers running around, and you're trying to like take them both down, and you got to like whittle your way through the city. That Penguin was like a nice little mix of. You remember that show Gotham? Mm-hmm. There was like an emo dude.
He's the Penguin, yeah. The Gotham Penguin was like a skinny emo dude.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But he was like a younger guy.
I remember that now.
And he was like batshit crazy, and there was like a whole backstory between him and like Carmine Falcone. And, it wasn't really a Batman show. It was more about like a young patrolman, Jim Gordon, and him trying to navigate
Yeah.
Gotham.
Batman's like 12 years old. during
Yeah,
the story.
exactly. It was like right after the death of his parents. But the Penguin was like the motherfucker of,
Yeah.
of the whole show.
I like that character.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. But the video game was like an amalgamation of him and the Burgess Meredith Penguin.
Oh boy.
So it was like old man Penguin, but he still had like this kind of gothy emo. Don't make me come down there and fuck you up. I'll stab you in the face, you piece of shit. Kind of a move.
I didn't like the Gotham Penguin because because of his body stature. I think of the Penguin as someone who's been body shamed for his pear shaped body.
Yeah,
and he's
sure.
like, well, fuck it, I'm just going to be a supervillain,
Right.
Because I look like a bag of fucking potatoes.
Here's the even cooler part. So I'm playing Gotham Knights right now, and like the Joker is dead. He died of cancer. Batman just died. One of the few Batman villains that's still around is the Penguin. He's 3 feet tall, and he is the only guy to go in and out of Blackgate Penitentiary and serve all of his sentences, which means he is prison hard
Yeah.
and does not give a fuck about anything. And the Gotham and the Arkham Knights and the Gotham Knights, the previous video game, kind of shaped this Penguin kind of mystique for me. But more to the point, one of the original plans for a sequel to The Dark Knight Rises was going to be a Penguin storyline with Philip Seymour Hoffman playing the Penguin. Unfortunately, he died
yeah.
before
Yeah.
that project could
Boy,
He
take
would have
off.
been a good
He
Penguin.
would
would've been
have.
great.
He would have crushed it.
Yeah.
I think either him or Paul Giamatti would have been crazy Penguins.
I think Philip Seymour Hoffman would. Yeah, well, Giamatti's got.
He's got
Chops.
he looks
Yeah.
like the fucking
Yeah.
Penguin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that
He can also, the way he switches, Paul Giamatti can switch between this normal voice to this real kind of frantic, higher pitched
Yeah.
voice too.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Showing a lot of teeth.
and it's just and it's just part of his. That's just his voice. But
Totally.
I think that could have worked great for the Penguin.
I agree completely. So that's something I was kind of disappointed in because Philip Seymour Hoffman was attached to the project, and then that was the end of that.
Damn mountain of meth or coke or whatever it was.
Stupid strippers and blow. They take
Motherfucker.
out a majority of the cool people in this universe.
Personally, I think they missed the mark when they didn't cast Martin Short's Jiminy Glick as.
I was in the green room.
Underused character. In my opinion.
I was in the green room with Bobby De Niro. Stupid.
I was just
What do you
watching
think
videos of him.
All right, guys. Well, I think that's about going to do it for this show. You guys got anything you want to add about Batman or future prospects or video games or comics or anything at all?
No, I'm just running through The Last of Us again. Jason and I have been talking a lot about that. The video game. I got the PS5 recently, like you did, and they did a remastering of
Right.
The Last of Us, and it's gorgeous. I really like it. So
I started from scratch
Did you?
playing it on PS4.
Okay.
Playing hard.
yeah,
So we'll
so that's
see.
fun. Yeah, I mean, really enjoyed the show.
How
I
does
mean,
one play hard, Jason?
He gets-
I have a massive erection every time I play the game.
he
He
puts
fluffs
his
himself up.
He puts his sweat band on his head and makes sure his palms don't get sweaty, and then mashes buttons like the best of us.
Oh,
It's very uncomfortable when he comes over to play Mortal Kombat against you.
After we shut down the mics, I have something about The Last of Us to tell you.
Woo! Well, alrighty then. For the Boys in the Basement, the Padded Room Podcast, and all ventures included therein, I'm afraid that's it for us.
Bye.
Bye.
Deacon, how many Batman movies have you seen?
4.
4 Batman movies. Which do you remember which ones?
No.
No, you don't. There was the Batman Begins. Remember that? Mm-hmm. And then Dark Knight with the Joker. Mm-hmm. What did you think of that Joker?
Funny.
Oh, you thought he was funny? Yeah, I don't think so, Mr. Man. Which one was your favorite?
Batman Begins.
That was pretty good, right? Ra's al Ghul in that one, The League of Shadows. Mm-hmm. Do you think you could take Batman in a fight?
No.
No way, dude. He's ripped, right? If I gave you any of the Bat gadgets to take to school with you, which one would it be?
Always a good idea.
Grappling hook, smoke bombs.
Batarang will take out
Batarang.
nobody's business.
Tell you what.
Grappler.
Grappler? What are you going to do with the grappler at school?
Sneak out.
You're going to sneak out of school? You can't be doing that. No way. What are you going to do? Get up on the roof?
Climb the fence.
Climb the fence. That makes sense. I like that. If you had the Batmobile, where would you go in it?
Taco Bell.
Taco Bell? If you're going, will you bring me back a number 4?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I want the taco fries though, not the
Okay.
chips. Who do you think is the scariest Batman villain? Deke? There's a lot of them. Remember all the ones that we fought against in Gotham Knights? You got Clayface. You got Mr. Freeze. You got Harley Quinn. You got the Joker.
Well, I know last Sunday he was having a hell of a time with Mr. Freeze.
He was. That guy's a tough customer, isn't he, though? Mm-hmm. Yeah? So who do you think is the scariest?
Either Mr. Freeze or the Joker.
Okay, I get that. Would you rather be frozen by Mr. Freeze or get the Joker's laughing gas? I'd probably get frozen. Because I feel like I could thaw out after a while. Joker's laughing gas. You're going to laugh yourself to death, literally.
But Mr. Freeze could hit you while you're frozen.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. But at least, well, if he's got that big exosuit on, he'll probably kill you with one punch, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, fair enough. Who is your favorite Batman sidekick? Red Hood?
Red Hood.
Okay. Well, let me run you down the list now. Just hold on. You got Red Hood, Batgirl, right? Or Oracle, depending on which universe you're in. Nightwing, and then you got Robin.
Red Hood.
Still sticking with Red Hood? Mm-hmm. Red Hood was a bad guy for a long time. He got killed by the Joker, put into the Lazarus Pit by the League of Shadows, came back. Now he's a little bit on the unstable side. I mean, he's still kind of a good guy, but he could blow the head off of somebody. You know, he's got those guns and stuff. Mm-hmm. You're still sticking with Red Hood?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Who is your favorite superhero? You're in the wrong room if you're looking around here looking for a superhero, kiddo. If you say Otis Driftwood. No.
Batman.
You sticking with Batman?
Yeah.
Even after we watched the Daredevil series, you're still sticking with Batman?
We never watched the Daredevil.
We did too. We watched the first season. Okay, I watched the first season while you happened to be in the room. You were probably playing Play-Doh or something. All right, buddy. Any closing comments on Batman?
Any Batman jokes?
Nice gadgets.
Omni gadgets. Those are the best. So, out there in your playroom, you have a DC Universe role-playing game. And the fun thing about that is, you know how Batman always seems to have the exact right gadget at the right time?
Yeah.
In the crux of that rule book, those are called Omni gadgets. So when you're falling off the building, you can say, I'm going to use an Omni gadget to get out of it. Grappling hook. I know. That has nothing to do with anything. All right, buddy. Say goodbye to everybody.
Bye-bye.